Hello everyone, good afternoon. Beta, welcome to the next lecture. Today I'm going to take IAS Economics Optional question first. So this is IAS Eco Optional paper 1, section A, question 1A, right? Let's see what the question is saying. The question says, explain briefly Chamberlin's concept of excess capacity in monopolistic competition. In monopolistic competition, right? Okay. Answer. So, beta, first thing, this question, this is in section A, question 1. And question 1 has to be answered in 150 words. We cannot exceed more than 150 words. But it is always good if you can answer the question with a graph. There is nothing like answering it with a graph, right? सबसे पहले it will be good if we can go ahead and we can explain what is excess capacity. अगर हमने समझा दी एक लाइन में कि excess capacity क्या होती है तो वो एक अच्छा पॉइंट रहेगा स्टार्ट करने के लिए, ठीक है? और फिर ये बताने के बाद कि एक्सेस कैपेसिटी क्या होती है, फिर हम बताएंगे कि एक्सेस कैपेसिटी ओरिजिनेट क्यों होती है, हाँ? और फाइनली ये बताने के बाद दैट व्हाई एक्सेस कैपेसिटी ओरिजिनेट्स, we are going to go ahead and we are going to take the last chunk of it in which we will be explaining the graph. तो ये एक perfect answer रहेगा to give for this question. इस question के लिए अगर हम ये we follow these steps, it will be the best way to answer this question. ठीक है? So let's begin. So I will begin by talking about excess capacity, right? In one line. So write down. Excess capacity is a condition that occurs when demand for a product is less than the amount of product a business could potentially supply in the market. Acha, since we are talking about economics, usually instead of using the word business, you should be using the word firm. थोड़ा better हो जाता है, हाँ? A firm could potentially supply to the market. बेटा अब हमने समझा दिया कि एक्सेस कैपेसिटी होती क्या है. नेक्स्ट, Chamberlain argued that in monopolistic competition, firms operate in excess capacity due to. अच्छा, अब हमने we have told what is excess capacity, ठीक है? Now we have to go ahead and we have to tell why excess capacity exists, ठीक है? Excess capacity क्यों होती है? So ideally, excess capacity is because you have a downward sloping demand curve. And why you are able to have a downward sloping demand curve? Because of the product differentiation. So due to प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन, राइट बेटा। तो अब हमने ये बता दिया कि एक्सेस कैपेसिटी होती क्या है। फर्स्ट वी हैव टोल्ड व्हाट इज एक्सेस कैपेसिटी, सेकंड वी हैव टोल्ड व्हाई एक्सेस कैपेसिटी। दो आंसर हम दे चुके हैं। Now what we want to go ahead and what we want to do third is that we want to compare perfect competition with monopolistic competition and tell कि दोनों में से किस में है और क्यों है। So unlike perfect competition, where firms produce at minimum point of the long run average cost, right? Monopolistic firm pays downward sloping demand curves. So monopolistic firms, they face downward sloping demand curve. They are not facing a horizontal demand curve. They don't have to produce at the lowest point, right? And according to Chamberlin, perfect competition cannot be considered idle for monopolistic competition. क्योंकि वो एक डाउनवर्ड स्लोपिंग डिमांड कर्व प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, तो जो आउटपुट निकल के आता है इट इज ऑलवेज टू द लेफ्ट ऑफ द मिनिमम एलएसी, राइट? आई विल जस्ट शो दैट ग्राफिकली ऑल्सो। टू मेंटेन monopoly power and earn normal profits, they must produce at a level where price equals long run average cost, but LAC is not at minimum. This gap is called excess capacity. Let me just make it, huh? Let me just show you graphically what excess capacity means. तो अब क्या हुआ बेटा? That you have this as the long run average cost. A perfectly competitive firm produces here. ये QC पे वो produce करता, right? But we are not a perfectly competitive firm, right? We are a monopolistic firm. And we don't have a horizontal demand curve. हमारा ऐसा demand curve नहीं है. Rather हमारा एक downward sloping demand curve है. तो downward sloping minimum को touch नहीं कर सकता. It has to be equal to LAC. Equal होने के लिए वो tangent होगा LAC को. It cannot cut LAC. That is not something which we expect it to do, right? So when it is tangent to LAC, जब ये LAC को tangent होगा demand curve, this is monopolistic firm का, this is the quantity that monopolistic firm will be producing, QM. And ये जो यहाँ पे gap आएगा, whatever gap we will be noticing here, ये gap will be my excess capacity. This gap will be my excess capacity. Are you understanding it? So excess capacity, why it is arising? Because I have a downward sloping demand curve. So if I have a downward sloping, I cannot be, मैं इसको tangent नहीं हो सकती हूँ. Are you understanding? उसके लिए horizontal होना जरूरी होगा. So I will be tangent to long run LAC, but I will be tangent below, before that minimum point. Right? And since I will be tangent before that minimum point, and of course, अगर ये मेरा demand curve है, if this is my demand curve, so I know that this is my AR curve. If this is my AR curve, then MR curve will be below AR curve. है ना? So अगर MR curve below AR curve है somewhere here, तो marginal cost कहीं ऐसा जा रहा होगा that I will be, where MR equal to MC, that will be also early only. You understanding? MR equal to MC condition पे भी अगर मैं देखूंगी, it will be a little early. So you have to understand that because I have a downward sloping demand curve, अगर मैं long run में ये assume भी करूं that I have normal profits, which is a condition of monopolistic competition, no profit, no loss, price has to equal to cost, long run average cost, P equal to LAC चाहिए मुझे. But ये P equal to LAC condition जो है, that means demand curve and long run average cost should cut each other. That happens at a quantity before that of perfectly competitive quantity, right? And that difference that we go ahead and we see, that is called as the excess capacity, right? So this is what I have written here. That this gap that we see here, that is basically your excess capacity. Okay. So now we have explained what is excess capacity. And if you look at the word count beta, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, क्योंकि usually एक sentence में 5 to 6 words are there. Even if I count this separately, because I have to take an estimate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 words. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, right? Keep doing that. 42, 48, right? 54 and 60. You have to count the words. उसके बाद 66, 72, 78, and 84 and 90. So I have done almost 90 words. I am still left up with some words. 90 नहीं हुआ होगा तो 100 हो गया होगा. And you have to always use approximate. Literal counting नहीं कर सकते हो. So you understand that आपका एक sentence में 6 words आ रहा है, 6 to 7 words. उसके according I have done this estimate that there are 15 sentences I've written. तो 7 के हिसाब से भी if I do, I have 105 words written. Now I need to do the remaining. So what I can do, the best thing that I will be doing here is that now I will be giving the conclusion to this, whatever I have written. And how can I conclude this, beta? इसको conclude करने के लिए I can go ahead and I can talk about the criticism and inefficiencies. So write down. Though often criticized, right, as inefficient, Chamberlin defended it as the cost of product variety or product differentiation. Consumers benefit from differentiated product even if production is not at efficiency scale. Thus, last line, excess capacity reflects trade-off between product efficiency and consumer choice in monopolistic market. हमने अब ये भी बता दिया कि हाँ इसमें इनएफिशिएंसी होती है, बट चेम्बरलिन ने ये बोला कि ये जो इनएफिशिएंसी है, दिस इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्ट डिफरेंशिएशन. अल्टीमेटली एक मोनोपोलिस्टिक मार्केट में you are getting multiple products, you're getting differentiated products. right? So you may think that it is inefficient, but there is a trade-off between efficiency and consumer choices that you are getting. This is a complete answer, beta. Isme actually there is nothing left. We have covered everything, every possible thing. And iski wajah se isme there is no scope that any marks will be deducted. Is it clear? ठीक है बेटा